We'll call this meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Polly.
Here.
Trustee Lappin.
Excuse the absence.
Clerk Palovich here. Treasurer Ellery Summers. Here. Trustee Kroll.
Excused absence.
Trustee Reiner.
Here.
Supervisor Skibby.
Here. This is, well, actually, before we get there, is there anything to be added, corrected, or removed from the agenda as presented? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion on the table to adopt the more and support it. Further discussion?
Yeah.
Seeing none, all those in favor of adopting the agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oppose the same. Adoption has. Moving forward into public comment. This is the first opportunity for public comment. If there's any public comment, and this first public comment is in regards to anything that's on the agenda current. The second public comment is for open discussion, this to recap that. Seeing no opportunity for public comment in person, is there anybody online that has a public comment? If so, please use the bottom taskbar so that we can identify you. Seeing none. I'd entertain a motion to adopt the consent agenda as presented.
I need to
Sorry.
pull the minutes out of it and make a correction on them.
Okay, we have, we're pulling the minutes to,
Which minutes?
which minutes are you?
The
Speaking of-
ones from, 25th. The minutes from the 25th,
Special or regular?
regular.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Let me check. The regular on the 25th, yes.
Okay. So the minutes of March 25th, regularly scheduled meeting, and actually 2024 and not 2004.
Well, can I just ask a question about it or?
We had to pull it and then ask a
Yeah.
question.
Oh,
So
okay,
is
then,
there anything else on the consent agenda that needs to be?
Oh, you have to pull it to ask a question?
okay, then I'll pull,
It'd be easier.
That's what we did.
I'd like to pull the fire department board report. Just, just the top page. Not the stuff underneath.
And trustee Reiner?
Just on the F and V operations, I had a question on the March 13 entry on that one page and like doesn't have a page number.
So we'll start from the beginning.
With mine.
Yep, March 25th, 2024. Regular.
On page 2, fire department, FEMA assistance and fire grant, in the minutes, I put that we were awarded the grant. It needs to be submitted by, added to it, changed from grant was awarded to submitted. And at the end of, right before roll call, it should say if grant awarded, because we won't be spending that money if the grant's not awarded.
Okay.
I'll support the change. So do you need support for that? Is that a motion to change?
I identified as a motion to change the minutes of March 25th, 2024 as presented by,
So did we vote on the consent agenda?
not yet, because he pulled.
Okay,
Yep,
so I guess do we vote on the consent and then,
we can do that and then go into everything that's pulled. So at that point in time, with the remainder of the consent agenda, I'd entertain a motion to approve the remaining items minus the March 25th minutes, the fire report front page, and also water report.
So moved.
We have a motion on the table to approve the remainder of the consent agenda. Is there support?
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of
roll call?
Yep, roll call please.
Clerk Plavich, yes. Treasurer Ellery Summers.
Yes.
Trustee Reiner.
Yes.
Trustee Polly.
Yes.
Supervisor Skibby.
Yes. And now on to the March 25th minutes. Everybody has heard the corrections needed. Is that a motion by?
I'll make that motion to
We have a
correct.
motion by Clerk Plavich to make the minute of change. that's required?
And I supported the motion, believing I was in attendance at that meeting, and that's my recollection.
Okay, so we have a motion and support on the March twenty-fifth meeting. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of amending the March twenty-fifth minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. March twenty-fifth, 2024 minutes have been corrected. Moving on to the fire. Report.
Number 9 on the fire report, it says we received communications from Alpena Alcona Area Credit Union that the fire department received a donation of $1,495 towards the purchase of an AED.
Would you like to take the podium?
In this board packet today, you'll see that I have a letter from, or an email from Alpena Alcona Area Credit Union. It shouldn't say that we've received it. I guess would probably be,
Okay, so
Have we received it?
we have not received it.
Okay, so we have.
They promised a donation towards a defibrillator, and I guess
because I thought, because I was gone.
that you haven't seen it yet.
So they pledged a donation.
They've pledged, there you go, thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
So is that the only question that you had on the fire report?
Yes.
Okay, with that, I'd entertain a motion to receive and file the fire report.
So moved.
We have a motion on the table to receive and file the fire report. Is there support?
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the fire report signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oppose the same. Fire report has been received and filed. Moving forward on to the water report. Trustee Reiner, you had a question? Mr.
Aye.
Lidle?
I just noted that we discovered, it looks like, at
Yes.
Partridge Point Marina.
Yeah, so we, there's a lift station behind the marina, and we previously did not know about it, so I contacted Supervisor Skibby, and he said historically that's been taken care of by the Charter Township of Alpena. So we mobilized out to the lift station and got our own locks on there, loan access through the gate and everything like that, and we were able to rectify the situation that from the high water alarm that was out there.
Do we own the lift station?
That's to be determined.
Mhm.
I have not found any, much like a lot of retained reports, have not found or identified the conveyance of said system. This is a unique aspect of our infrastructure, whereas it's a continuation of sewer only infrastructure that traverses the abandoned channels in Bear Point that separates Island Drive and North Partridge Point, formerly known as North Partridge Point. Will always be known as North Partridge Point as far as I'm concerned. But it is
Hope you're
a,
not still calling Squaw Bay.
well, I won't go that far south, Russ, but so no, it is a 4-inch force main
Correct.
that actually goes from Island Drive lift station. And it's the only compound that has sewer services on all of Partridge Point.
Also correct. Yes, and our main concern is we didn't want this lift station to overflow and give the Alpena Township an SSO, sanitary sewer overflow, which now Eagle's really cracking down on that, and they're starting to, instead of giving warnings, starting to hand out fines. So we want to do anything possible to avoid that situation. I know we had to put some money into it just to make sure it ran. We bought a new fuses for $5.09. And also we contracted with Alcona Septic to get grease buildup out of the lift station itself. Just because if that grease did get sucked up by pumps, eventually it's going to come to our system anyway. Let's cut it off at the head end if we could.
So this does flow, whether it's owned by us or not, it's part of.
Yes,
it
sir.
Flows into our system.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, any more surprises out there that you know, or you wouldn't know about it?
We did recently find quite a few manholes in the woods that.
Is that pertaining to this system?
It's part of that, yes. We found that the sanitary sewer and 23 South flows pretty much right across the street from Pole Road and cuts through what were going to be the extra channel roads that Mr. Skibby was talking about, right to our Island Drive lift station. I know previously when Skibby in his DPW days, he previously looked for those manholes. He was not able to locate them. Currently, we have located 5 out of the 7 and have GPS coordinates on them. So we were trying to locate the last 2 and get as-built built on made of them.
Thanks.
Mhm.
Any further questions over in regards to the water department report? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to receive and file the water department report.
So moved.
We have a motion on the table to receive and file. Is there support? Trustee Polly, did you have support? Yes. We have support by trustee Polly. Any further discussion? Seeing none, All those in favor of receiving and filing the water department report, signify by saying aye.
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 I oppose the same. Motion passed, received and filed. Moving forward through the fact that we have no old business. The first item of new business is, and we have some members of the Thunder Bay Island Preservation Society with us this evening, is an addition, which is, I think I get it to everybody, was the two RFPs that were submitted for engineering services to 33%. Having 33% of an engineering status affords what everybody wants. How do you actually utilize the data that you've compiled to go for grants, and what does that look like? So what you have before you are two different out of, I think, 6 different companies made it through and submitted, initially put their foot in the door for RFPs, and I believe we only heard back positively from both that are presented, GEI and also RS Scott. And there's some differences between the two. I worked with members of the preservation group on as an ad hoc committee to kind of go through. And that would be the recommendation. Elisa as myself sitting here and having to sat on that ad hoc going through the RFPs, it would be my recommendation. As it's kind of a several topic item front here. We have one in my memo to set up a restricted fund. I believe that Michelle's already had some of those conversations.
Yeah.
So it'll be kind of multitasked. We would become, since we are the landowners, the fiduciary for this project. And it's so the recommendation that we set up a restricted fund.
For the
Where-
donation that we get.
For the, well, for they were successful in a community foundation grant for $5,000, and the remaining funds are out of their own coffers that they are going to put into a restricted fund to make payments of the engineer.
It's like a donation, but it's only for a.
It's a
Specific
restricted fund.
purpose.
Yeah,
Right.
so it's not so much to describe it as a donation at that time. It is a restricted fund where we are the fiduciary.
And then 7,500.
But that would come in as revenue.
It would come in as revenue.
As
yeah.
donation.
They go into a line item for this particular,
Correct.
For
Just not to
fundraising.
be spent on anything.
and then there's 7,500 left roughly. So
Yeah,
Was
so
that-
the township would, as we've committed, going through the budget. That would be, I think the remainder in my memo, if I remember correct, was roughly $26,000. That they're going to be paying out of.
33,600.
26,130.
Yep. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's my recommendation to go with GEI. There are some members that were present through that process. It was in hopes to have a local company be competitive, but they were quite a ways apart. And so it's my recommendation as the property owner, working with Thunder Bay Island Preservation Group, to move forward with the memo that I presented, to setting up a restricted fund.
Would the motion be to accept the 33,630 as a restricted fund to only be used for Thunder Bay Island Preservation Society and to approve
Yeah, correct.
GEI
Yes.
and I'll make that motion.
Okay, so we have a motion on the table to approve the recommendation of GEI as the engineer of the scope of services for engineering, and then also the creation of a restricted fund for $33,000. Is there support to that motion?
I'll support that.
It's been moved and supported. Further discussion?
I do have just
Yes.
a question. So we have the 26,130 that they have in their coffers, basically, that they're gonna use. And then the $5,000 was a grant.
Well, out of that, they actually received through, well, if you want to
26
go,
is the five.
just go to the podium, just to explain it, and that way we can have it for the minutes.
I was just curious how the total
Yeah.
comes up to the 33,630, because it doesn't, those two numbers don't. add
Yeah,
together.
that's way our 7,500.
Oh, okay, and where would that come?
That's
from?
what we have in our budget. That's fine.
Okay, then that makes sense.
Yep.
Okay,
Well, I'm Steve Dean, the treasurer of the
Hi.
society for the lighthouse. And maybe I can clarify some of this. It looks like it's gonna be a total of what is it, Sue, 34,860 or something like that? Okay, there we go. But 9,000 is coming from the Community Foundation Northeastern Michigan, and that check's coming. We don't have it yet. And then we're gonna draft out of our savings account $16,860. So once that restricted account is set up, if somebody could let me know, I'll get a check to you for 16,860. The 9,000 is coming from the Community Foundation as soon as we get that check. And then we got 5,000. That's,
That's part of your 60,000.
okay, that's included. All right. I haven't done,
And basically, the fund's already sent up. We have the GL.
We
line.
already have.
So
Mhm.
we have a GL to put it in. It's
I just
ready
wanted-
to go.
yeah,
Just by making this motion, though, it restricts that
It
those
restricts,
funds
yeah.
cannot just go into the general fund and be used for anything.
correct. Exclusive for us.
Exclusive for,
There you go.
yes,
So if someone could let me know when that's set up, I'll get a check for the
It's
balance.
set up.
It is set up.
it is set up.
Okay. I
We
got a
always
check
have
tonight.
a GL that's
Okay.
just for Thunder Bay Island.
All right,
And you would bring it to my office up front, so,
okay. I got the
or
check.
you can. And I'll process it. That's very-
Yeah, we'll figure,
But,
yeah.
yeah, I don't, if you want to do a check tonight, you can, or you can come back later on, or whatever you want to do.
Okay, thanks a lot.
You're
All right.
welcome. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Did you made the motion, right, Michelle?
I made the
You made the
motion and
motion,
you
you
supported.
supported. There's no other discussion, roll call.
Trustee Polly.
Yes.
Clerk Palovich, yes. Treasurer Ellery Summers.
Yes.
Trustee Reiner.
Yes,
Supervisor Skibby.
Yes. Moving forward in new business is a server room. Was able to get two estimates back to the table. One from Great Lakes Plumbing and Heating and Cooling. This is for an air conditioner in our server room, which it needs to be air conditioned. That is a sweat box. Our blessing is that the winter time, it's not as insulated as it is. But it's gone on far too long, and this has actually helped. The higher the temps are in that room, the shorter the lifespan is for all the electrical components of our servers. And it would be my recommendation to move forward with the G&K plumbing and heating quote that is in here, and that is to put in and plumb a wall mounted AC unit that has an outside connected condenser unit.
that's one of those.
Flush mount kind of.
Like I have in my house, because I don't, have a place for it. Yeah, those are. Have gone up quite a bit.
I'll make a motion to purchase from G&K Plumbing and Heating and the $5,100. I don't know what line item that's out of.
Well, we have it adequately funded in buildings and grounds maintenance, which I believe is,
You can just give me building and grounds and I'll
yeah.
look it up.
Yeah. So I think it's 931.
It's maintenance, not equipment.
It's grounds, it's repair and maintenance. I'm trying to think of how, there's two different GLs that are for it, and I don't have it.
One's building.
So, okay, we have a motion. Do we have support on?
We do not have support.
Is there a motion or support to Laura's motion to move forward with the recommendation of G&K plumbing and heating? Or been moved and supported. Further discussion? Seeing none, roll call please.
Clerk Palovich, yes. Treasurer Ellery Summers.
Yes.
Trustee Reiner.
Yes,
Trustee Polly.
Yeah.
Supervisor Skibby.
Yes. Moving forward is a quote from Habitat for Humanity for the total cost of $6,270. This is a quote that we got towards the tail end of last fiscal. But this is at the Alano Club building, which is still retained by the Charter Township of Alpena. We've put in thus far, we've put in some money for insulation. We have quite a few different things on the project. Trying to get everything kind of stalled at the county level because the opioid fund meetings kind of decelerated when they lost their county administrator. So trying to allocate funds out of that, but in the meantime, These are projects that probably should have already been taken place years ago, given the fact that we are a municipality and we need to maintain ADA compliance. But it's my recommendation to move forward and be my recommendation to actually use this expenditure out of ARPA monies. Because we've only had thus far, the only other ARPA money that we had on the social context front would have been for the insulation project that we did at the Alano Club. They're looking at doing another $8,000 in plumbing work at this location as well. So it's really actually.
They're
getting-
doing that.
Yeah,
Who's going to be doing that?
the Alano Club board is
Okay.
actually doing a fundraiser right now. They have some monies in their coffer. So it's kind of nice to see some good synergy coming out of that new board that's been formatted. But yes, Elizabeth.
I was just curious, were we not able to get another bid or a quote?
Habitat does this, they do ramps cheaper than anybody else
Oh.
can.
Okay.
So given the fact that this meets their mission statement as well as doing it for social good.
Is this wood construction or? metal?
This one is actually built, I thought there was a different picture that's not in this packet, but it is actually womanized lumber. The ones that they have made out of metal are their temporary ramps. I'd asked about that in terms of just having better drainage aspects. But those are actually short term.
Really?
Difference between modular and modular, right?
Modular manufacturing.
Yeah, so. But no, it'd be my recommendation to utilize that expenditure out of ARPA. But that's,
I'll make that motion.
we have a motion on the table. Is there support?
I'll support it. Using ARPA funds is,
Yes.
is that part of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion and support on the table. Further discussion. Hearing none, roll call please.
Clerk Flavich, yes. Treasurer Ellery Summers.
Yes.
Trustee Reiner.
Yes,
Trustee Polly.
Yes.
Supervisor Skibby.
Yes. Next item of business is, this is a bill that, we actually, cost shared 50% on. This was for the emergency, digging, that took place on Princeton. We didn't get the invoice until, I believe the day after our last board meeting. We have moved forward with this project, obviously. But we had adequate funds in our remaining road budget, because this is actually going back to last year's, expenditures. Because it took place in last fiscal.
so we're just approving something that was done.
We're just approving.
Out
it.
of last year's budget then?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, so it's not gonna interfere with our projects for this year?
No, sir.
Cut any out?
Nope, we ended up, I think, with a residual roughly of, I want to say $14,000 or $15,000 remaining in our highways, roads and bridge GL. And so this reduced it down to just about half.
I'll make the motion.
We have a motion on the table to move forward with the expenditure of last
Support.
fiscal, support by Ellery Summers. Further discussion? Seeing none, roll call please.
Treasurer Ellery Summers.
Yes.
Trustee Reiner.
Yes,
Trustee Polly.
Yes.
Clerk Flavich, yes. Supervisor Skibby.
Yes. This is a application that we get annually from the Long Lake fireworks event that takes place in the township. At this point in time, I'd entertain a motion to approve their fireworks event to be held on June 29th, which is a Saturday, with a rain day for that event of June 30th.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion on the table to move forward with.
Support.
It's been moved and supported to move forward with the a special event application and permit. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the special event application and permit signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed to same. Russ, if you wouldn't mind taking this point of conversation, which is a letter from Kim Ludlow, representing Alpena County Land Bank Authority, and with
Sure.
Russ sit down.
yeah, as you probably all know, I sit on the County Land Bank Authority representing our township. Well, and at large, but the board is made up of Kim Ludlow as chair. Todd Britton, Danny Mitchell from the city, Bill Peterson from the county, and myself. We're trying to get seed money. What we found is that the land bank already set up and there's grants available for land bank projects. But, and I attribute this to a lack of state vision when they enacted the statute on this, but it's been around for quite a while, but we finally have one formed in our county, I think as of last summer, or fall. And I was appointed to it late in the year. We're looking for seed money to help us get started. We see this as a benefit to all of the municipalities in the county. The primary purpose is to find blighted properties within each municipality, and then look for projects that can and grants that can help us then acquire the property, demo it if necessary, refurbish it if possible, and get it back on the tax rolls at a higher level than they are now. And or some of them aren't on the tax rolls, some of them are tax reverted. So we're looking at several projects in the city. Nathan has identified a couple that we need to formally propose in our township. But what we're looking for is a minimum of 5,000, probably a maximum of 10 from city and township. I think Danny Mitchell's on this board too, if I didn't mention that. And I think he's looking to get the city to put in 10,000, the county's put in 25. This helps us do certain things that we can't do under any grants, acquisition, also surveying, I think demo. I'm not even sure if demo is part of a
I
grant.
think demo can be part of
Yeah.
land bank expenditures.
Yeah. So, but we're looking for funds that we need to even be able to get started in the land bank. The county donation did help a lot, but we're asking for municipalities to consider assisting us in moving forward with projects. Any question?
What GL would we be paying this out?
We'd actually have to create a GL.
Yeah.
And then fund it.
And then fund it. So my question, I know historically this ask has been floating around at, and correct me if I'm wrong, it used to be, I believe, $3,000 for 5 years. Is that kind of?
That was Lenny from Target's when he talked at that meeting. That was a little bit kind of pulled the rug out from under us in that regard, because that's not what we discussed at our meetings, but you know.
So then, if I may, just what would be your recommendation?
5,000.
Just as an annual, or is this a multi?
Well, and that's a decision to make. I don't know how it's gonna go. Frankly, if we get enough projects, we might need some help from some of the municipalities to continue. But I'm also thinking, I mean, there's an opportunity here through administrative parts of grants to have the land bank generate some funds administratively for its part in these projects. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but I learned that along the way, and it didn't at first for me. There's a lot of this that
How could they generate it? How would
Yeah,
they
it's-
do to generate?
each grant has like a X percent administrative cost. Some of that we have to pay to an organization like Target. But I've been, well, those of us on the board have been insisting on some of that administration funds can stay with the land bank. Usually we've been holding 10% of whatever the administrative fee might be.
Just to build a seed.
Yes.
Is this similar to a brownfield in a?
Similar
In a
similar.
way, yeah.
They cross paths in a couple of very limited areas.
In fact, the fact that you mentioned that is like we were talking about a brownfield out on 32. And I'd still like to see something done there, but that would require working with the school district and so on. But that's still something I'd like to propose down the road
So
as
is
we
the
get.
land bank residential properties, or
No.
can it be both?
We can be both out.
Well, I guess without having a breakout and creating a GL, would it be copacetic to bring this back to the next board meeting, and that way we have an identified GL.
Sure.
Now that
Well,
we
and
know-
not only that,
Now that we know the full request from.
whether we have enough
Yeah.
room in our budget to put it in,
Okay.
you know.
So then I guess I will postpone further discussion on this matter to our subsequent meeting.
So just postpone it with the date.
We'll postpone it to our subsequent meeting.
So we're not doing any voting. on
No, no, I'll bring forward a GL. I'll work with you guys to create a GL following chart of accounts. I think it would probably behoove us to follow the mechanisms that are in play, the same GL category as target chamber. And then go from there, but. Okay,
So we'll do it. on
anything
May-
else for the good of the order on that
Well,
topic? sir?
May 28th, because it'll be
Yeah.
on a Tuesday.
Only that you and I need to talk perhaps on that one property at least that
Okay.
we identified and see
We might- we
which
might
one of
well-
us is good to take
We
responsibility.
might as well bring both those topics back to our
Okay.
May 28th meeting,
Okay,
which is a day postponed because of Memorial Day. Okay, so moving forward, item number 7, Michelle, would you like that? Or,
Oh, I think we should hand it over to
Please.
our beautiful Dell. I don't know if anybody's been in our office lately, but Haley will open a drawer, it will fall out. She will open a cabinet, the whole door falls off. Nathan spends quite a bit of time fixing things in
Can
our
we just
office.
get her a set of steel-toed shoes?
She has been very diligent in getting the best deal. We are recommending the bottom one that's highlighted. Basically, it looks like it's a little more than the one above it, but it comes with two the filing cabinets with drawers. And if we added if we bought another one separately, it would put us over. So I'm recommending we purchase this Bush Business Furniture Westfield faux front left-handed L-shaped desk with 2 mobile pedestals in mocha cherry.
And you're not buying this.
And
one,
you're-
this.
We're not buying it because it's
Right.
already included
Yeah,
in
okay.
that price.
and so you made the motion, or is that your recommendation?
I will make that motion.
I'll support. To utilize 101-262-975-000. It's been moved and supported. Further discussion? I hope they have good hinges.
Or you'll be fixing them, Nathan.
When I started. it was-
Heard that before.
So how much can we get out of our current desks? that she has?
We'll be lucky if somebody picked it up off the side of the road.
We don't have to pay to get rid of it.
Yeah. Now,
Wanna do
So-
roll call?
yes, roll call, please.
Trustee Reiner,
Yes,
trustee Polly.
Yes.
Clerk Plavich, yes. Treasurer Ellery Summers.
Yes.
Trustee Kroll. Oh, shoot, cross them off. Never mind. Supervisor Skibby.
Yes. Next item on the agenda is a contract for services through Dawn Lund and UFS. This contract breaks out several different activities, 3 principally. First and foremost is forecasting water and sewer rates moving into the future. The second part being a complete breakout as it's actually prescribed as an hourly rate. For breaking apart our water and our sewer enterprise funds so that they can be allocated appropriately for application for USDA rural development grants that we're poised to go after. And then third and final is forecasting what that USDA grant for infrastructure would actually do to our water and our sewer rates. And so it's kind of a 3-tiered thing, but it's my recommendation to move forward with UFS and Miss Lund. And I believe the forecasted known amount for these activities are on towards the very back of their packet at the combined total cost of $29,800.
That
Which
does not
breaks
include.
apart water, breaks apart wastewater, and then on hourly, it is the breakout, and then it will also be based upon hourly for the USDA projections.
We don't know.
So
the
it won't be,
exact-
it'll be greater than, but what we know for a cost of forecasting rates in a fair and equitable manner, which we're obliged to do, reasonable, is to have data that proves what our rate should be. And so it's my position, my recommendation on knowing that UFS is probably the most familiar outside of Stantec with our rate structures in our system to help us move forward in the water and sewer rate making capacity for $29,800.
This is to be paid out of professional and contractual.
Yep,
service.
592-537-801-000.
That's out of the,
Water fund.
Water
Water
fund,
fund.
solely out of water fund. So,
you recommending this, Mr. Supervisor?
yes, sir. Yep, UFS helped us jointly with the city when we're looking at the authority discussions. They also helped in a previous mediation session with our counterparts, and they're extremely knowledgeable about both of our infrastructures. Trustee Paul.
How is this mixing with what we presently have working with the court system, Nandy?
Ms. Lund has been interfaced from the beginning of this with Mr. Patterson and Andy Berman.
Okay.
So every data point, we're trying to cut the curve. That's why I had Mr. Berman action and Stan Peck look at the proposal that was brought before this board. And it was per his word, a better deal than he could bring forward. But they swim in the same pools, and they're both entities are extremely professional and both extremely knowledgeable with our system. So to your point, sir, they've already been interfaced of what we're looking at and how we need to be poised to look down the road. So
So he was saying to us that his competitor gave us the best price possible.
that's another way of, the legalese of it all, Mr. Ryan. Yes, no, so we do have a fair shake at this. Nothing's ever cheap, unfortunately, but the best way for us moving forward is to have a picture for not only for this governing body, but for our residents to know what they're forecasting and looking at in terms of water and sewer rates.
I'll make a motion, we approve this contract with UFS Utility Financial Solutions in the amount of $29,800.
But it's gonna be more than that.
Yeah.
Because part of it's hourly. So do we want to
Oh.
see as presented?
As presented would be,
Oh, okay, yeah,
and I think no matter what, once we get into those hourly projections, those costs will be coming back to this body so that everybody's extremely aware of.
thank you for the clarification.
Although, when I asked what the time schedule looked like in terms of separating out the water and sewer in our enterprise fund, that was 10 hours or less, so it shouldn't be.
I'll
Yeah.
support that.
We have a motion and support on the table. Is there further discussion in regards to the recommendation of utilization of UFS? Seeing none. We will do a roll call, please.
Sure. Trustee Foley,
Yeah.
Clerk Palovich, yes. Treasurer Ellery Summers.
Yes,
Trustee Reiner,
Yes.
Supervisor Skibby.
Yes. Moving forward, this is a quote for redoing all the principal floors in the township office, front entryway, all 4 restrooms, boardroom, and the hallways connecting. We do the hard on an every other year rotation, and this year it is the year for the hardened surfaces. And it's my recommendation to bring forward the quote from Eagle Supply for $1,700, and that is for both hallways, the front lobby and back hallway, the boardroom, and all 4 restrooms.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion on the table to move forward with a quote from Eagle Supply to the cost of $1,700.
I'll support.
It's been moved and supported. Further discussion? Seeing none, roll call please.
Clerk Palovich, yes. Treasurer Ellery Summers.
yes,
Trustee Reiner,
Yes.
Trustee Foley,
Yeah.
Supervisor Skibby.
Yes. Moving forward, we have 2 requests for items to be added to the fixed disposal asset list, and this is coming out of public safety, of which is 5 out of date, 5 cardiac science AED units. And then also number 2, which is 21 50-foot lengths of old fire hose. Obviously, you see the connections of the materials, affording support of the disposal asset list, but with that being said, I'd entertain a motion to accept these two items to be placed on the fixed disposal asset list.
And one's a donation, one's probably trash.
Nearly, but I think they can scrap out some key points. So,
Mm.
but I would entertain a motion to add these two items to the fixed
So moved.
disposal asset list. We have a motion on the table. Is there support?
Also,
It's been moved and supported to add both the 5 AEDs and the hose. Yes, Laura.
So we have 5 AEDs and those are mixed between this building and Southside. Is that where these 5 are?
Yeah, we pulled them out of storage cabinets. They've been out of service for.
Oh, so they're not like these these
No,
new
these are
ones? Old, okay,
ones
Thank
that have
you.
been out for a while.
sounds good, thank
And
you.
you can get $75 basically out of the raw materials that are in them.
Okay,
Oh.
I didn't know, I thought they were,
Rare
like, these were
minerals aren't
expired
cheap.
already.
or like the nuclear material.
Not with liabilities, but this isn't the part to have open, unfortunately, sir, it's not an open dialogue, just to kind of keep things moving forward, but very duly noted. So we have a motion and support to move forward with the items on the fixed disposal asset list. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same. And then we also have the pledge, of which I think we clarified that language out of the fire department report. This is also goes to the pledge for the expenditure for the refurbished AED unit per the chief's memo. Alpena Alcona Area Credit Union is donating up to $1,500, which will then buy refurbished. And then the other, it's not in there, but the other aspect of the fire hose is for training purposes only, and we got that communication. That way we mitigate the liabilities. And that's what we're doing with the unfortunate aspect of the disposal of the AEDs, given the consideration that they're been in a professional municipal healthcare facility, i.e. Our emergency services. It was in our, as a township, our best interest to mitigate our liabilities and go this route than to donate them to anybody else that could actually have a need and then try to use it and have an issue that never ends out very well. So just wanted to clarify that. So
I have a
Yes.
question. It's for Mark. Back in November, you gave me a list of prioritized equipment that the township needed for your department. There's no AED on here. So I guess I'm wondering why this jumped above all these other things when it wasn't even on the list.
Well, we're going to be putting together the new tanker truck when it comes, and we would like to have the AED on that unit. We have an old unit in the tanker that we scavenged parts and pieces to put in there, but it's in the same vintage of the ones that we're asking to get rid of. So, and
So have you updated this priority list?
no, it wasn't even a thought of mine, truthfully.
Okay, are we going to update it?
We can,
Because
if
I-
you'd like to see it on there, I can put that on there.
Well, I would like to see what truly is our priorities,
Okay,
Mark.
because how did this work? Did they donate the money only for AEDs? Did we go and ask them for AED donation? I don't know how we got the
Right, so-
donation.
I was having a general conversation with Leanne Schultz, and she said they had given monies out to different areas, sheriff's departments and for AEDs. And I asked, what would it take to, get into that request? And she said, just go on and ask for a donation. So that's what I did. She sent me an email back saying that they were going to give us up to the same, that all the other agencies they were given for $1,500. And with our trade-in with our old AEDs, we won't require their whole $1,500. We'll be able to get a refurbished unit. That's got a warranty of a year, which is great for that, for those units. So I don't know if that answers you completely, but
yes,
Question.
trustee Murray.
How many of these units do we have that are actually working units that are still certified or whatever it required? It's
I
required,
believe there's two.
and they're in trucks?
One of the trucks is the tanker, and that will be going
No.
away.
So.
Do we have
no,
any in
but
our
I want
buildings?
a Point of clarification. Now, when you responded by saying we have two of the vintage that you're getting rid of, because we have more than two AEDs. I guess
Well,
that's.
let me say, there's a couple different model numbers. The model, if Jim was here, he'd be able to tell you the model numbers. The oldest ones are going. The other two that still remain are several years newer, and they can still be kept in service, which I would like to be able to put them in the hands of our first responders if we can.
Are you
Until
talking
we,
about this one?
that one, there's one in the tanker currently.
But we have 3 or 4 newer ones, not just
That's
2
right, right.
units. I mean, because you took the 1 unit out of that, which was one of 4. And you put it in the chief's mobile so that they're all alike.
Right.
Those are 4 new units.
Right.
So I guess that's my point of clarification, because you're going down and saying we have 2.
I
We
thought
actually
you were
have
asking,
4 new ones.
I
plus
thought you were
the
asking
2
what
that are.
if these were the same vintage. They,
No.
if you set the units side by side, you can't tell the difference, but there's a model number, years. The ones that we're getting rid of on the asset disposal list are really old. They've been,
So how
In-
many do we have working that we're keeping?
That's.
there's
that
one
was
on each
original.
licensed response vehicle, so that'd be 4, 5, 6, I believe.
Plus this one. and
Yes.
No, I
probably
think
one
that
at-
would be 6. Because.
There's probably one at
The
Southside.
question-
I think,
The
I
follow-up-
think you're right, Supervisor Skibby. I think that makes the 6th one there.
Yeah,
Follow-up question then to me is, and we have one in our camp and we had to replace it because it was beyond the certified battery life or whatever.
Right.
So what is that? Is that a 5-year or 10-year cycle?
So that all depends on usage. So you check them, at least weekly or monthly, and you look at the progression light. Jim says we had 5 physio units and 2 cardiac science units and 1 on the tanker. So apparently he's listening to the meeting, but, so the battery life on these, obviously, it can go up to a couple, 3 years, okay, if they're not used. But if they sit in the cold or anything like that, that tears the battery up a little bit throughout, So at the camp, at the one that you have at your camp, you'd have to look at the pads and all the dates on those. Everything's got a date on it. So all that stuff expires. That's why they're so expensive to keep maintained. I believe a new battery for these are over $400. Yeah.
$175 for that one.
That, we got refurbished battery price. So I found that out, and so,
Refurbished battery.
yep.
Elon Musk would like to know about that. but, Okay.
If you want to get with me sometime about the camp, we would certainly help you out there.
We have 5 working ones in your department,
Correct. That's what Jim just,
plus this one.
yep, so the total of 6. So Supervisor Skibby was right with the total.
Plus 1. I was actually wrong. I think it was by Jim's numbers, it was 5 plus 2. So 7. So,
So we have
I-
7 working. I guess I'm trying to figure out where they all are and where we're putting them.
You're in the
Well,
pickup trucks.
Each rescue, each engine. So we've got 3 engines. We have 2 rescues.
so does L3 or E3 currently have an AED?
I believe it does, yeah.
Okay, so that's actually gonna be probably rotated into, and that's a newer one, or is that one of the older physio units? Because then that would obviously, just the way my brain's thinking. if
I can
we're-
honestly say I don't know right at the,
Copy.
I-
Well, then. let's
that's
just-
Jim's department to take care of that, so.
Okay, so then I'll entertain, we have a quote, just to follow the agenda packet. We already accepted the 2 additions to the fixed disposal asset unit list, but now the first order of business is to move forward with the purchase of a refurbished AED. And this is where the trade-in value of the previous fixed asset disposal list is at of 5 probably batteries that they're refurbishing. It's turning around, so, for a cost of $1,271.15. There's a motion to that,
Did someone make that motion?
No.
Oh.
yeah,
Considered it already. Oh.
so this
I'll
is,
make the motion.
I have a motion on the table to move forward with the set Outcast, I mean, or what is the name of this company? Out.
It's Coast. I thought the same thing. It's Coast Medical. When I,
COAST.
Yeah.
Okay.
Coast Biomedical.
I like that better than out.
Yeah, it didn't come out really well.
well, yeah, when I first typed the original, Jim said it's not Cast, it's Coast, because I was reading it as such as well. So
Okay. So we have a motion and support to move forward with,
Supported.
no, we don't have support
don't
yet.
have
We have,
support yet.
we have a motion to move forward with the quote for a new AED unit. Is there support?
Is that if the donation is received?
I would ask the author of the motion to add that as a friendly.
Yes,
That if we receive the donation, then we
From the-
can order it. We can't order it until after. Is that what we're
correct.
saying? Okay.
Yes. So
I'll second that motion.
Okay, so we have a friendly amendment to the original motion and support of,
I have a question though.
yes, Lauren.
So I'm just curious, if the amount is 1,271.15, why in your recommended motion, does it say not to exceed 1,495?
the original letter from the credit union was they were gonna authorize up to that amount. We
15.
found that we didn't need that total because we're gonna be able to get some credit for their trade-ins on the
Right.
old units. So as soon as I let them know what total that we're gonna need not to exceed for their original offer, I just wanted to make sure that we,
So they'll be most likely
Yeah.
giving us a check for the 1,271.
correct.
Thank you.
Mhm.
So we have a motion and support. A further discussion. Seeing none, roll call please.
Treasurer Ellery Summers,
Yes.
trustee Reiner,
Yes.
trustee Polly,
Yes.
clerk Palovich, yes. Supervisor Skibby.
Yes. Next, would be a recommendation to donate 21 50-foot lengths of old hose to ACC, which is Oakland Community College. Just spelling it out sometimes, you know. I get in trouble.
I know my increments.
I know. Is there a motion to donate 21 50-foot lengths of hose?
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion on the table. Is there support? Or it's been moved and supported. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of donating the 21 lengths of 50-foot hose to ACC signify by saying aye.
I,
Aye, opposed the same. Next, you'll see, as we've always brought outside employment to the governing body. It's found that Mr. Mendiga has some outside employment that he needs to have declared by contract. And that is for, it sounds like his smaller side business for lights and sounds for private fun. So he's a DJ and karaoke aspect. So RM Sounds DJ service. And then also he's on the Lincoln Fire and Rescue Department, fire department. So he has 2 outside engagements. Is there a motion to allow and continue to allow Mr. Mendiga both outside employment opportunities?
I'll make the motion.
We have a motion on the table to move forward with the recommendation and identifying 2 outside employment declarations. Is there support?
support.
It's been moved and supported. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor of allowing outside employment declarations to continue signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Moving forward to new business item number 14, which is just a quick budget adjustment. And this is to move monies from 205-336-974-000, which is equipment GL, and actually moving
We're moving money into.
money into it, and it's gonna be coming from 205-000-582-000, which was a local grant for public safety.
So we're actually moving money into both.
We're actually, yes, moving money. which is, I'll entertain a motion to move forward with, those budget adjustments because they directly correlate to the next item of new business.
I'll make that motion.
So a motion on the table to, move forward with the budget adjustments. Is there support?
Support.
It's been moved and supported. And any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call please.
Trustee Polly.
Yes.
Clerk Flavich, yes. Treasurer Ellery Summers.
Yes.
Trustee Reiner.
Yes.
Supervisor Skibby.
Yes. And moving forward into the next item of new business, Chief, would you like us to
Sure,
wrap this up?
sure will. We had talked as a group out in the fire department, and Jim took the bull by the horns, wrote a grant to the Community Foundation for Northeast Michigan to increase our Mustang ice rescue suits. The current ones that we have are all past date. We had one that failed in an ice rescue attempt. One of our firefighters wearing that and the crotch ripped out. So it's time, they're out of warranty, and we've got the grant to secure 5 suits and 9 life jackets to make our operations for life rescue a little easier. And the total amount is $4,839. And it's my recommendation that we can proceed with the grant funded purchase.
Recommend it, yes. Go ahead.
And we've already received this money. The check's already been received.
Question.
Yes, sir.
Are these suits, the 5 suits, are they unique to personnel? In other words, unique to an individual?
No, they're basically kind of a one size fits all unless you're Jake Ordway. Then they're a little bit tight for him, but he can still wear them. But they are designed to be able to fit everybody. You're not gonna be running a track event with them though, because
I would think not. Yeah.
they're pretty,
And there's no match for this. They just.
that's
gonna pay
a
for
straight
the-
out grant.
That's full.
I'll make the motion for that purchase.
I'll Support.
Motion and support to move forward with the recommendation of the purchase of 5 Mustang survival suits and 9 Mustang survival BFBs at the cost of $4,838.63. Is there any further discussion?
39.
Yeah, that's just around.
That's based on the funding already received from the grant.
38.53.
But it does say.
I know.
it's-
So,
Usually on the next page.
Yeah.
yeah, so we have motion and support. Any further discussion? Roll call. Yeah, no, 63 cents, 38.63.
Clerk Flavich, yes. Treasurer Ellery Summers.
Yes.
Trustee Reiner.
Yes.
Trustee Polly.
Yeah.
Supervisor Skibby.
Yes.
Thank
Thank
you.
In my head.
Wonder why I'm not answering.
This is the second opportunity. If you have any public public comment, this is to openly discuss anything township related. Identify your name for the records and 3 minutes, sir.
Hey, my name is Brad Welsh and I live over off Eagle Drive.
I'm sorry, what was your first name?
Brad.
Brad.
This is only partially about chickens. I called and asked what it would take to have chickens in a residential area. And it's a fair question to ask. And I was told $600 and some to ask the question, which is absurd. Am I incorrect in that, Mr. Skibby?
This is public comment. This is not
Well-
open dialogue.
Way to help. So $600 for asking a question, can I have chickens? That's not guaranteed that I even get them. It just doesn't seem fair, right, intelligent, a good way to do it. There has to be a better way. It can't be $600. That doesn't even encourage people to follow the law. Is what person's got $600 to say, hey, can I have some chickens? Are they more of a nuisance than dogs? And since when did growing your own food, raising your own food, want eggs, which I thought was a human right, become something that was restricted so heavily? I understand people don't want a farm in their backyard. I respect my neighbors and I would speak to them individually before I did something like this to ensure that I wasn't being a bad neighbor. But you guys, if you allow something like that to stand where it costs me $600 to be a good neighbor, that's not fair. That's not right. And that's not what this governing body is supposed to do. So I implore you, please look into this. I'll give you my contact information after the fact. But I would like this to be addressed. There has to be a better way to go about this. $600 is ridiculous.
This is the opportunity for, thank you very much, sir. Podium is still open if there's any other additional public comment in-house.
Oh, suave forever.
Hashtag Suave forever. Anybody online have any public comment? If so, please use the bottom taskbar under the ellipsis of more to raise your hand or send a message so that we can identify you in your comment. Again, this is the last opportunity for public comment, online as well as in person. Seeing none, further discussion for the good of the order?
I just have one item.
Yes, sir. Or yes, miss.
I'm just letting the board know that the 9 days of early voting took quite a toll on the clerk's office. And we, for the next 2 elections, are teaming up with the city to work together to cut the cost in half and the wear and tear on the clerks and deputy clerks.
It's a wonderful thing.
And it will be here. The early voting will still be here for.
Yes, trustee Paul.
Yeah, I did a little something on my own. I received my,
Norm, could you please turn on your microphone?
everybody over there. There you go.
Thank you.
I received my notice from the tax assessor that my taxes would be going up, so I called them to ask a little bit about it, and they said, well, do you want to come in front of the board of review and protest your assessment? And I said, well, not really. And they says, well, if you do, here's our number, what you've call back. And also, here's some information. So they sent me the form for it. They were very helpful. They also sent me the property record card, which I compared to my old one. And I got thinking about this. So I says, since we have a new assessor in town, I'm gonna go through all the motions, go everything so that I can come back to this board and report to you that I feel very comfortable with the assessor we have. The phone calls that I left and messages were all returned promptly. They were very professional, except today when I called to return a call from Mr. Berg. And I got a lady that almost, I think I need to call him back for her. But other than that, everything went wonderful. I think that this assessing service that we've hired to do it, no, it doesn't have the personal touch of going into that little office and talking to an assessor, but I think they're doing a very good job for us.
Yes.
I'm just not sure, Norm, did you have a bad experience?
Just today on the phone with one lady, it
Okay.
was a little bad experience, but all the rest of them, they were fine. In fact, I will be talking to Alan about that when he calls me back. So I think that we're going in the right direction.
I didn't go that far as you did, but I had a lady from the assessing office come to my home, as I think a lot of people are having, and it was a very pleasant interaction. I recognize what's happening and, but I still believe that taxable value versus appraised value, the taxable value, your assessed value, and appraised, assessed, 50%. Anyway, we're not taxed on the assessed.
This one other thing.
Yes,
I
sir.
think I found out by going there that I think I saved a couple of dollars.
Wow. You want to be my
Yeah,
attorney on this?
you could represent the remaining trustees if you wanted to get property cards. So is there anything else for the good of the order? There's no other discussion. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We have a motion and support to adjourn. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned at 7:05. Thank you, everyone.